Call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Everybody, welcome in. It's a Friday. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. And what a busy weekend we have coming up for you. Again, NFL Week 3 officially kicked off last night, technically, with the Dolphins and the Jaguars. How about that matchup? That was brutal. That was boring. And Fitzpatrick, man, go away. You're ruining it for my guy Tua.
Hey, man, that's what Fitzmagic does, man. He just finds a way to keep sticking around the NFL, keep cutting them checks. You would figure a Harvard guy has a lot better things to do than play football.
He just loves the dang game, man. And half the teams he's played for, they're all garbage. Every time he played for the Bengals, I believe. Yes. He played for the Bengals. Garbage. No, okay, already. Not even 2 minutes in. I couldn't. Gosh, dang, Justin, you have a problem. I have a problem. I need to work on it. I will work on it. I'll fix it. I promise. But no. So like Colin's show, I was listening to him earlier today, and he goes, you just never know what you're going to get with him. He has a game where he's thrown 6 touchdowns and no interceptions, but he's also had a 6 interception game and no touchdowns. Like he's like, you know what I mean? It's like you get everything in between as far as that's concerned.
Insane, man. The amount of teams he's played for. He's played for the Rams, the Bengals, the Bills, the Titans, Texans, Jets, Buccaneers, and now the Dolphins.
All right, we got lots coming your way. How about this? The Reds, by the end of tonight, the Reds could be in the playoffs. The Reds could clinch their playoff berth tonight. I'll tell you how they can do that. They're going to need some help around them. But the only way for that puzzle to be complete is they have to get a win tonight against the Twins in Game 1, which we're going to talk about. It's going to be an 8-10 first pitch. We have the lineups for you. We'll get to that in a moment. We also have, if the playoffs started today, what the bracket would look like. And then we asked the poll question earlier today on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. If the playoffs started today, they would open up with the Braves. But what is the most ideal opponent, in your opinion, Reds fans? Who would you rather see? We've kind of touched on that throughout the week. We've seen the bracket change from day to day based on the different scenarios, but I am curious, which opponent is the most ideal? We've seen the Cubs, we've seen the Dodgers, we've seen obviously now the Braves into the mix, and I think things could still kind of get shuffle around a little bit. Who knows where the Cardinals could end up? So I am curious, Reds fans, how you feel about the opponent. We have had one person on the page on the poll just basically come out and say, hey, I don't care who they play. I'm just glad that they could potentially be in. They have 3 with the Twins to close out the regular season. We had a chat with Hal McCoy, Hall of Fame Reds writer, yesterday about that. There's a lot that can go right and a lot that can go wrong. Nothing is guaranteed, but there at least is a clear-cut path to get to the postseason, and the Reds control their own destiny. You win out, you're in good shape. So we'll get to that coming up in a moment. Around the corner, we will go 3-and-out with the Browns, 3-and-out with the Bengals. 3 reasons why we believe both teams will win, 3 reasons why we believe both teams will lose. And if you'd like to chime in and jump in on that as well, you could start your list at home. Go 3-and-out with Kinner and Cav again, 3-and-out with the Browns, 3-and-out with the Bengals. 3 reasons why you believe the Browns will win, 3 reasons why you believe they will lose, and we'll do the same thing for your Cincinnati Bengals. NBA playoffs, LeBron James, one game closer to getting back to the NBA Finals, and we'll discuss that coming up around the corner as well. But let's open up with a little Reds talk. I want to go ahead and open up the phone lines right away. 457-9464. That is the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. For those of you who are watching us live, we are live on Facebook and ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. But if you want to follow along live, go to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. And hang out with us weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. Listen, stream, and now watch. Listen at 1410 Wing AM, stream at wingam.com. And, of course, you can watch us live on Facebook and the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel to hang out there as well for those of you who are not big Facebook users. You can also find us on Twitter as well. But let's take a look for those watching live. And again, we'll walk you through this as well for those who are listening. But the playoff bracket looks like this. So there's 3 games remaining for your Cincinnati Reds. They have a lot they're going to need help around them if they want to clinch it tonight. But the one thing that they have to do to at least allow others, they need to help them. They need to help others help them. And the way that they can help others help them is by getting a win tonight against the Twins. If the playoffs started tonight, the Reds would be going up against the Atlanta Braves. All right, they would go on. And by the way, this is the best bracket that you could actually look at for your Cincinnati Reds, because the winner of the Reds and the Braves would go on to face either the winner of the Cubs and the Marlins in the divisional series. And we've seen the Reds go up against both of those opponents right there. But I do believe that is a much easier path. If you want to get to the National League Championship Series, if you want to advance in the playoffs, I think that this is the bracket right here that really benefits the Reds more than some of the others. Yes, you would have to run into the Cubs in the National League Division Series to get to the championship series. But when you look at the Cubs' struggles as of late, all their struggles have come from their inability to be able to make things happen at the plate right now. They're one of the worst hitting teams in baseball over the last 10 days. And you're probably saying, oh, man, who cares about the last 10? This is why stats to me drive me nuts when you try to use the whole season's worth of numbers to tell a story here in September, late September, early October. The reason is because, as we all know, not just in baseball, but other sports as well, it's always about who's healthy and who's rolling. And sometimes the team with the best record isn't always rolling. Sometimes the best team that's been the best team all season, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily the best team at that particular time. I'm by no means saying that the Reds are the best team in baseball, but they are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. That is something you cannot deny. And to me, when you look at that bracket, going up against the Braves, that's winnable. If you run into the Cubs in the divisional series and the Cubs have been struggling offensively, their deficiencies match up well with what the Reds are doing well. And that is the fact that they are one of the top pitching teams in baseball. One more time, if the Reds started the playoffs today, they'd be going up against the Atlanta Braves. They would go on to face the winner between the Cubs and the Marlins. And then, of course, that's where you could potentially run into the Dodgers or the Cardinals or Padres in the National League Championship Series. Bottom line is, as long as the Reds have pitching, I'm going to have faith that they can get it done. And here comes Ron in the clutch talking baseball, and he has a football comment right off the bat. Ron, you never cease to amaze me. I tell you, something Rays related too. You could have at least gone Rays related, but holy smokes, man. But no, the Reds and the Braves, looking forward to that if that is the playoff matchup. But 457-9464 Reds fans, I want to hear from you. It's basically going to come down between the Reds and the Cubs, the Reds and the Dodgers, or the Reds and the Braves. Of those 3 opponents, which of those 3 opponents do you feel best? Do you feel more comfortable going up against in the playoffs? I put out on my Facebook page earlier today, I believe it's the Atlanta Braves. The Dodgers, they're the number 1 seed for a reason. I want to avoid the Dodgers at all costs. I don't want to see the Dodgers to the championship series if it comes to that. The Cubs, although the Cubs are right now hitting, they're not hitting well at all compared to those other 2 teams. It is still the Cubs, and I do believe that there is that emotional block that is up between the Reds and the Cubs. I do believe there would be an intimidation factor between the Reds and Cubs. And I know that sounds kind of funky, but we just know the Cubs have been the big brother beating up on the Reds for quite some time now. And I would just prefer to stay away from the Cubs, if at all possible. Now, on top of that, mainly because they're playing the Marlins. How about the Marlins, by the way? Everyone had written the Marlins off. We were making fun of Derek Jeter early on. The Marlins were one of the teams that had those huge outbreaks for the coronavirus early in the season, and they were making a mockery of everything. Remember when Rob Manfred had to come out and almost pull the plug on the season after the first weekend? That was because of the Marlins. And then Derek Jeter comes out and says, well, hey, they weren't out screwing around. They went out to get some milk. They needed some milk for their, Cocoa Pebbles. I don't know what they need. I mean, they needed milk. Okay, good for them. They needed milk. But that's what he tried to cover everything up with and say, hey, they weren't out of the club, even though there was pictures of them at the club. They weren't out at the bars. Oh, there was pictures of them. No, they just needed milk. Milk is what led to the COVID outbreak in the very first weekend of the regular season. But I'm looking forward to this. If the playoffs started today, the Reds and Braves would be going head-to-head. Let's take a look at tonight's lineup for your Cincinnati Reds and Twins matchup. Again, the Reds need to get a win tonight. Here's your playoff scenario. The Reds can clinch a postseason berth tonight if they can get a win over the Twins. Okay, that's a given. They have to get a win tonight. We could be, by the time our high school football game of the week ends tonight, when I get back in my car, we could be talking about the Cincinnati Reds team in the postseason. What they have to do, of course, they have to get a win over the Twins tonight. That's a given. But they also need the help of the Rays. Ron, you want to tag into this one? I'm a Rays fan tonight. The Rays need to beat the Phillies to help the Reds clinch a playoff berth tonight. And then the Brewers, who are going to be going head-to-head with the Cardinals in the doubleheader tonight. Shocker, Cardinals in the doubleheader. They need the Cardinals to beat the Brewers in one of the games tonight. Both would be better. But if the Cardinals beat the Brewers just once out of their doubleheader, if the Rays beat the Phillies and the Reds get a win tonight, the Reds will be in the postseason as far as that is concerned. So the lineup that you're going to have to rely on tonight to get the job done, at least on the Reds side. Let's start things off. Shogo Akiyama will lead things off in left field and bat first. Nick Castellanos will bat second and get the start in right field. At first base and batting third is Joey Votto. At third base in the cleanup spot is Eugenio Suarez. He's batting fourth. Batting fifth and at second base is Mike Moustakas. The DH is batting sixth, and that's Jesse Winker. In center field and batting seventh is Nick Senzel. Freddie Galvis will get the start at shortstop, and he'll bat eighth. And batting ninth behind home plate tonight will be your catcher, Tucker Barnhart. One more time, Shogo Akiyama, Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, your 1, 2, and 3 hitters. Eugenio Suarez, Mike Moustakas, and Jesse Winker, your 4, 5, and 6 hitters. 7, 8, and 9 belongs to Nick Senzel, Freddie Galvis, and Tucker Barnhart. And the pitcher on the mound tonight that the Reds are going to have to rely on to have another solid outing, Tyler Mahle. I believe this is a huge outing for Tyler Mahle, because if he can go out there and have a huge outing tonight for the Reds, that's going to bode well for him confidence-wise heading into the postseason if it does come to that. If it comes to a Tyler Mahle start, which I don't anticipate it for a while, Tyler Mahle will at least be able to build off of what he's able to do tonight. I like this lineup. I've been impressed with Tyler Mahle. I really hope that it does not come down to the Reds needing to put Trevor Bauer on the mound on Sunday, and that is your Reds lineup for tonight's matchup with the Twins. We will not be carrying the Reds game tonight, unfortunately. We will be on the road at Wayne, calling the Wayne and Fairmont game. It's our ESPN Dayton High School football game of the week. But after that, if the Reds are in contention, if it looks like they're well on their way to punching their ticket to the postseason, we will jump on the Reds broadcast later on tonight. We'll be able to bring you some of the coverage for tonight. Let me ask you this. The Reds right now already pitched Trevor Bauer on short notice.
Yes, sir.
4 nights. It's a short notice or short rest or whatever the other night. They might have to rely on doing that again coming up on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So actually, no, he would be well rested. I'm sorry. He'd be ready to go by Sunday. But the problem is I would like to give him an extra day's rest if possible. I wouldn't want to use him if we don't have to. And if it does come down to I've heard people say David Bell better not use him on Sunday. I'm always the first to jump on David Bell decisions. But why would you not want to use Trevor Bauer on Sunday? Well, because we want to get to the playoffs. Well, Sunday, if it does come down to that one game, that's the playoffs. So that game becomes the most – everyone is thinking the wild card round is going to be the most important game because the Reds will be back in the postseason. Well, you can't get there unless you win on Sunday if it comes down to it. I think the Reds really have to really need to have him penciled in to start on Sunday if it comes down to a clinching game on Sunday. Hopefully they clinch tonight, but I really do believe the Reds need to pitch him on Sunday. Everyone's screaming that they need to save him for the playoffs, but if they don't win Sunday, if it comes down to it, there may not be a playoffs for Trevor Bauer to pitch in to begin with.
Absolutely. It's all hands on deck in that situation. I remember back in the 97 World Series when the Indians were playing the Marlins and they went into extra innings and they were running out of arms, and Charlie Nagy had to go in relief and end up giving up a run, and everybody was ragging on, Charlie Nagy for giving up that hit. And I'm like, well, he's being a great teammate, being available because Charlie Nagy was your ace and got you a win like 2 days ago and went in on a short rest trying to get us a World Series. And you look at Bauer, if he goes in there and helps the team win, that's his job, to help the team win. And I'm pretty sure he'll be willing to do it. I mean, these dudes do have a say-so because, their arms and their length of their career, pitching themselves out and everything like that. They do have a say-so, but there is no tomorrow, It's all hands on deck to get into the playoffs. And once you get in, you worry about everything else after that. But if there's nothing to worry about, if you can't even get into the big show, can't get into the dance, pay admission.
The other reason I believe that Trevor Bauer would, be all up for pitching on Sunday if it does come down to it, is he wants one more outing to potentially get that Cy Young. I don't get how I don't see how he should not win it. But let's be clear. if they do need him, all right, I'm all for them using him on Sunday, mainly because of the fact that he would guarantee if he goes and wins on basically a playoff game on Sunday, if it comes down to it. I think they're going to clinch tonight. I just feel like there's a lot of positive momentum rolling in Reds' favor, something they have not had all season to the past 10 days. I think they clinch tonight, or at least they get a win tonight, and maybe some of the other teams don't follow through. Ron, the Rays fan, he says Rays have Charlie Morton on the hill. Should be a win for mine and Dickie V's team, the Rays. Because again, for those of you just tuning in, the scenarios that the Reds need, the scenarios for tonight that the Reds really need to count on to clinch the playoffs. They need a win over the Twins, which I believe they'll get tonight, but they also need the Phillies to lose to the Rays and the Brewers to lose at least one of their 2 games in the doubleheader against the Cardinals. But with that being said, if it does come down to that on Sunday, imagine Trevor Bauer on the mound to clinch a playoff berth. If it comes down to that, to me, he has another big, great performance. Doesn't even have to be as good as the other night, but if he's the winning pitcher in a game that sends his team to the playoffs, that would clinch his Cy Young right there. There's no way he doesn't win a Cy Young. There's no one else pitching better than him. There's guys pitching as well as him, but there's no guy that has had a bigger impact on his team than Trevor Bauer, and that's coming from me, who always finds something negative to say about Trevor Bauer.
As an Indians fan, I am rooting desperately for the Reds to sweep the Twins and the Indians to sweep Pittsburgh, because if the Reds sweep the Twins, and the Indians sweep the Pirates, the Indians win the AL Central. So go Reds.
Go, exactly. How about that? Adam Gutmuller on Facebook says Sonny Gray would be on full rest on Sunday. Maybe Bauer out of the bullpen on Sunday. Look, this is the time of year where it goes back to the all hands on deck thing. I don't think everyone needs to be a little bit loose with their roles. However, and that's going to be if Trevor Bauer feels comfortable doing that, but I guarantee you that he will. But my thing is if you're going to be in position to use him on Sunday, Sonny Gray is coming off of the IL. He could only go 5 innings the other night, mainly because they were trying to ease him in. I would be weary using a pitcher in a clinching game, possibly on Sunday, that you would have restrictions on. Like I would rather and that's the thing. You talk about Sonny Gray being well rested. I would rather the Reds use Trevor Bauer again on short rest, get a good 7 to 8 innings out of him that game, and you still have Luis Castillo, you still have Sonny Gray that you can use in the playoffs if it comes down to it. But again, it's all about getting there, and that's going to be interesting. Justin Nickel on Facebook says there is no tomorrow. One of the best lines in one of the best line Rocky 3 Apollo 3.
Sir.
We've had that conversation before.
There is no tomorrow, Rock.
And then Adam on Facebook says the Padres sweeping the Giants tonight would also help. Absolutely. The Reds need a lot of help, but the main thing they need to focus on is picking up a win later on tonight, game 1 of 3 against the Twins as they close out the regular season and hopefully clinch their first playoff berth in 7 years. This is Dayton's home of the Reds. It's Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. Coming up later on tonight, we have our ESPN Dayton High School football game of the week. Fairmont at Wayne. Fairmont is the number 1 rated defensive team in the conference, going up against Wayne, who's the number 1 overall offense in the conference. So something's got to bend, something's got to break. And Keith Byers and I, we're excited to have the call for you coming up later on tonight, 7 o'clock. Fairmont fans, Wayne fans, we're excited for that matchup. Again, 7 o'clock the kickoff right here on 1410 Wing AM. All right, let's go. Let's do a little 3 and out. Kev Nash and I, we're going to go 3 and out with the Cleveland Browns when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
A sun and cloud mix today with a high of 81 degrees. Overnight, partly cloudy, dry conditions, and a low of 60 degrees. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine and a high of 84 degrees. And I'm Lorna Stevens for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
I left the military with a traumatic brain injury. I came home to fight depression, anxiety, and alcohol.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Adam Greathouse, Army veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
With DAV's help, I built a new life for myself.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is just experiencing life.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Pros today have to do whatever the job calls for, and the Home Depot is here to help make that easier. With a wide range of delivery options, you can get what you need, from job lot quantities to small supply runs, delivered where and when you need it. Don't want to buy the tool? Rent it. We've got the most innovative products and more ways for pros to find them, in-store and online. Pros are changing, so are we. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the double take tire specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts gets you worry-free hot water for one low monthly fee. There's no money down, and installation and any future repairs are included. Call Stevenson Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit stevensonhvac.com. See website for license details.
Hitting the road this summer? Do what truck drivers do. Bring plenty of 5-Hour Energy. You'll get the alert, energized feeling you need to get where you're going and do everything you want to do when you get there. It's small, light, and portable, like it was made for road trips. Just crack it open, knock it back, and keep both hands on the wheel. Because when it comes to road trips,
are we there yet?
Safety comes first. 5-Hour Energy. Energy on the go. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
if you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens, and all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now, we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's a Friday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Our ESPN Dayton High School football game of the week features the Wayne Warriors at home welcoming in the Fairmont Firebirds. Again, Wayne coming in with the number 1 overall offense in the GWAC, going up against the number 1 overall defense in the GWAC. So that's going to be a fun matchup. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself will be on the call. And that's coming your way, coming up later on tonight, 7 o'clock to kick off. You can listen live at 1410 Wing AM. And don't worry, you can stream the game at wingam.com. All right, week 3 of the NFL. Last night, we saw the Jaguars and Gardner Minshew, look like poo against the Dolphins or whatever. 2 teams who you look at and say, hey, they're not going to win a lot of games, but both quarterbacks for them have played real well. Minshew did not look as good last night as what he had the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah.
But the ongoing conversation, I've never seen a backup quarterback get more love and coverage in a pregame show before than Tua Tagovailoa. I'm watching like the whole pregame show last night on NFL Network. It was Tua. And I'm like, man, like, I get it. You know what? I was thinking last night, the one reason I think that the organization is not pushing for him to start right away too is like there's limited capacity at these games anyways. Ticket sales, are important, but I think they're going to get their 6,000 fans in attendance. Is it 16 for them for the Dolphins?
I think it's more.
Is it 20,000? Okay,
so it's Florida. They're wide open.
Yeah. So they're going to get their 20,000 fans easily. They're not working to get 20,000 fans. If they were looking to sell out that place, I think there would be more pressure to put Tua in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think right now there's not as much fan outcry because you're not able to go and watch. Like if I'm a paying fan, I want to go. I want to watch Tua. I don't want to watch Fitzpatrick. It was kind of like the year with the Browns. Browns fans were I don't want to pay to watch Tyrod Taylor. I want to see Baker. That's what I'm paying money for.
A new toy.
I think the reason you won't see as much pressure on the Dolphins to do the right thing, in my opinion, with Tua Tagovailoa is because I don't think the urgency to do it. They're not expected to win games. They're not going to be in the playoff hunt. Fitzpatrick looked good last night, but he's done that his whole career. He'll have good games and bad games. You never know what you're going to get, but he can fall anywhere in between. I just believe that because of that, that's why you won't see the urgency. Now, if all of a sudden those lifts are, pulled, then we'll see. But who knows? I believe because there's not an urgency to fill up that stadium, that is why you won't see, I think, more pressure to be able to play Tua Tagovailoa so early.
I get your point with Tyrod Taylor and everything that's going on with the Chargers and Herbert, but this one is like almost, in my book, totally different because you do have Fitzmagic, and for some strange reason, there are games that he just looks like he's unstoppable.
Even go back to last year,
like his entire career. I mean, he's a 7th round pick out of Harvard who's been in the league a long time and been capable of winning games a long time. Matter of fact, it's not even sometimes game to game. It's half to half. Like sometimes he just looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And so as a coach, you're like, man, if I could just get him to play like that guy all the time, we could actually be somebody. So I honestly do think it's just like, man, Fitzpatrick is just, currently better than him and probably does give them a better chance to win. And right now, at the beginning of the season, everybody's in the same place until you go on those 2-3 game losing streaks. All right, we're probably out of it. Bye week, we go ahead and get the young guy ready and put him in there.
It's going to be interesting how that pans out too. My big thing just with Tua, they're being too overprotective. And that's what's like, he was cleared by doctors. He's cleared to play. Like, you can't continue. To me, that fear is never going to go away. Like, do you think a year from now they're going to be less worried about an injury than right now? I just don't believe so. That's kind of my thinking. And I would rather let's say that the Dolphins go out and spend a lot of money in the offseason to put weapons around Tua. Well, Tua's progression might slow them down with the weapons around him when, to me, I thought it was best to let Baker play that first year with no expectations of making the playoffs. Let him make his rookie mistakes, which unfortunately his best season ever was his rookie year, and he hasn't looked the same since. But let him make those rookie mistakes in a year where you don't have expectations to make the playoffs. The Dolphins, I don't get how you can go into next year and not make moves to try to make the playoffs. And then when you do that, you're technically doing a rookie quarterback thing. Now we watched Patrick Mahomes win MVP in his very first year as the starter, his second year in the league. But I don't think this is the same thing. It's not the same thing.
I think these teams are looking at it as especially in the AFC East, all right, Tom Brady's finally gone. They expanded the playoffs. Man, we can get to the playoffs with 8-8. Fitzmagic can get us 8 wins. That's what they're probably thinking. They're probably thinking we can get to 8 wins and get it to the playoffs. Maybe, maybe not. They just got their first win last night.
Yeah, and getting into the playoffs, so you could be beaten the first round. Now you got a crap draft pick. Come on, now you got to be smarter than that. That's the living in Ohio and being trained to think like that around the Bengals and Browns all the time.
Been to the playoffs and
shoot.
Let me see when last time the Dolphins went to the playoffs.
Has it been recent?
I don't think so.
My Dolphins knowledge is not up there. All right. So again, keeping an eye on some of the lines for this weekend. Tennessee, a 2.5-point favorite against the Vikings. That line moved slightly. The Bengals line moved. They are a 5-point underdog now. The Eagles, I'm sorry, are a 5-point favorite in this. It was, I think it was 5.5 or 6.5 yesterday. So that line's continuing to move. But again, the Bengals still not the favorite in that game. I could see so many different scenarios. We're going to get into the Bengals 3-and-out coming up here in just a moment. But that game really interests me. Did you find it?
Yeah. 2016. They lost to the Steelers 30-12.
Who was the guy? Who was the quarterback?
Let's find out.
And we need a research team. Hey,
right.
Can you want me to go check with ownership to see about what our budget looks like? To go.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know how that works out for you. So Antonio Brown scored a 50-yard touchdown and a 62-yard touchdown. Oh, you were asking about the other thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN.
Matt Moore was the starting quarterback.
Holy smokes.
For the Fins.
I would never have guessed that. But all right, let's hit the ground running. The Cleveland Browns and the Washington football team, 1 o'clock, the kickoff coming up on Sunday. Hold up, we got our 3-and-out. We got our 3-and-out. Oh yeah.
Oh,
there you see it. So let's start this. So all right, the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe is this one?
Kev Nash brings you over.
All right,
no, that's not it. We're gonna find it. I don't see it.
Browns.
Now stop it, because we're gonna reset it, so it sounds like we legitimately know what the hell we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we welcome you back. It's Justin Kinner and Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Let's go 3-and-out with the Cleveland Browns.
Browns. Bengals. Justin Kinner and Kev Nash go 3-and-out.
All right, we're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to hang out with us and watch the show live. We're also on Twitter and Dayton's ESPN YouTube channel. Subscribe to that and watch along. You can participate by commenting in the chat section below. We'll be able to pull your answers or your questions or your commentary into the show. So 3-and-out is like this every Friday. We go 3-and-out with the Browns, 3-and-outs with the Bengals. 3 reasons why we believe the Browns will win against Washington this Sunday. 3 reasons why we believe they will lose against Washington coming up on Sunday. I like this segment because it eliminates everyone who tries to say I'm biased, because I'm going to give you good 3 reasons why they're going to lose on Sunday too. So, and then I have to find some painful ways of explaining why I think the Bengals will win. So it's fair. It eases a lot of feelings. So the Cleveland Browns, we're going 3-0 with the Browns. We'll start with why we believe that they will win. Kev, I'll let you start. The Cleveland Browns will win on Sunday. Why?
Absolutely. This is the reason why the Browns can win this game. They're going to roll them out. Roll them out. Keep Baker on the move. Cut the field in half. Keep the reads short for him. Keep it high to low. Don't make him read the entire field. Roll Baker Mayfield out a ton.
You can do all 3.
I'm going all 3. Oh, okay.
All
Number
3
2.
is why you believe
Number two. This is very simple. It sounds simple, but it's hard because you have a big time receiver like OBJ and Jarvis, and you got Austin Hooper and all these weapons around there. But the open guy gets the ball. You know, we saw in week 1 where on that opening drive of the second half, they forced the ball to OBJ a ton, got a couple pass interferences and everything like that. But they tried to force feed OBJ the ball. No, open guy gets the ball. Hey, if you're open, you get the ball. If you're not open, the other guy gets the ball. Just read your progressions. Don't force the ball to any receiver, not just OBJ, not just Jarvis. Whoever's open gets the ball. And number 1 reason, run the ball, man. Just run the ball. You got 2 very good running backs. You got a good offensive line that loves to run block. Run the ball. If you run the ball, you use those 2 running backs to your advantage, you can win this ball game.
And you talk about receivers for Baker Mayfield. 9 different Browns players caught a pass from Baker Mayfield against the Bengals.
Spread the love.
OBJ, by the way, how about this? For the first time since Baker Mayfield and OBJ have played together, this was the very first time that OBJ led the team in receptions, not targets, because he regularly leads the targets sometimes, but this is the first time in those 2 playing together. We pod that down just a tad. This is the first time in those 2 playing together that OBJ led the way as far as total receptions on the night. Of course, the 74 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown on 6 targets. Jarvis Landry with 3. But yeah, 9 different Browns players. So to your point, sharing the ball, don't be so locked in on one. And sometimes when you have the mentality to share the ball equally and not be pressured to focus in on one, sometimes that's when the talent takes over once you get comfortable. And then it's like, oh yeah, OBJ then becomes, the main part of the offense naturally as opposed to forcing it along the way. I still see trouble brewing, but I don't think the Browns and OBJ last the rest of the year. But that's a comment and a topic for another day. So we're going 3-0 with the Cleveland Browns. 3 reasons why we believe the Browns will win. You just heard Kev Nash's 3-0 with why they'll win. Here's my 3-0 with why I believe the Cleveland Browns will win. They will win the game because they're going to tighten up. This is going to be the Titans. This is going to be the 2020 version of the 2019 Titans. All right. I like Baker Mayfield. I think there's stuff to work with there, but I think that they right now have to focus on not developing him, but winning now, because sometimes there's such thing as maybe giving your quarterback too much talent early on in his career to where you almost forget that, okay, there is going to be some bumps along the way, but the pressure of having to win now is there because you went and got OBJ, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Hooper, and I'm not making excuses. That's just the reality of it. You're expected to win, but I think we've totally eliminated the idea that, hey, only his 3rd year in the league. He's had 4 different head coaches now. Not excuses. I'm just pointing out those details right there. But they have to tighten up, run the ball, like to your point. Chubb, Kareem Hunt, a heavy dose of those guys. Let that be the identity of the offense. And then, the fact that the secondary look of the offense could be OBJ, Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield and Hooper, the fact that that core right there could be the secondary look for that offense, that's pretty impressive and speaks volumes about the depth of the offense, but it has to be established early with the run. I also believe that they're going to win coming up on Sunday because Baker had his best game since his rookie season against the Bengals, in my opinion. He didn't throw for that many yards, but again, his completion percentage was higher than any of his games last year, and he had his highest QBR since his rookie year, QBR of 98. 2 touchdowns. He did throw an interception, but I believe he's going to build off that confidence. Keep in mind, outside of Washington's defensive line up front, they're not as strong in their secondary either. I do believe that you're going to see, Baker kind of pick up where he left off. I don't think he's going to move the ball as easily against this Washington team because they have some good, strong guys up front. But I believe Baker's confidence will be why they win on Sunday. And point number 3 in our 3-and-out for why the Browns will win on Sunday. I'm sorry, not Dwayne Haskins. No, yes, technically Dwayne Haskins. Here's why. Everyone right now, because I'm getting a lot on Facebook, how about this? Shane Sheridan on Facebook says Garrett will plant Haskins into the ground. But I'm getting a lot of the, Chase Young is going to be why the Browns lose on Sunday. It's just the opposite, too. I mean, you have Chase Young, one of the top pass rushers in the league already, but Myles Garrett's already established, and I think he's going to do some damage to Myles Garrett, to Dwayne Haskins as well. I believe the pass rush of the Browns, although their secondary is banged up, the pass rush of the Browns is going to do damage. Dwayne Haskins isn't officially settled in yet. Right. There's more questions about him than there is about Baker at this point, so I believe that that's going to be why. The defensive pressure up front for the Browns on Dwayne Haskins, that'll be why the Browns win. Baker's confidence building off of last week's win against the Bengals, and then, of course, establishing the run game. Those three reasons right there are my 3 and out for why I believe the Browns will beat Washington coming up on Sunday. 3 and outs, why the Browns will lose. Kev, ready, set, go.
All right, bad backers. The linebacker play for the Browns has been bad. It's going to continue to be bad until Mack Wilson returns. He's their best linebacker. He runs sideline to sideline, and a lot of the routes that I almost called him the other name. The Washington football team runs are those drag routes and those slant routes. So you want to make sure you have good linebackers to clog those passing lanes. And right now, the Browns linebackers aren't doing it. Number 2, Denzel Ward, hamstring. Is he playing? Because when Denzel Ward plays, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But the problem with Denzel Ward is he doesn't play a lot. And obviously, everybody wants to see that matchup between him and Terry McLaurin, former Buckeyes. I'm sure those battles in practice were epic, so I want to see it on the NFL field, but we don't know if Denzel's going to play. So that means, hey, Terry McLaurin may have a big game. Number 1 reason, 3rd and long. They have a ton of game records, not just Chase Young. They got Bostic on that D-line. They got Ryan Kerrigan from Purdue on that defensive line. They got Montrez Sweat on that defensive line. A lot of first-round guys, a lot of big-time names that we know from Big Ten country, SEC country. They lead the league in sacks right now. So 3rd and long equals pressure for Baker Mayfield. And on 3rd and long, you can't roll him out. You have to sit there in the pocket and make reads on 3rd and long. So you get in 3rd and long.
Hooper, you listening? That's where he's going to have to come into play.
You get in 3rd and long. That's when the game records are let loose, like a Chase Young. So those are 3 reasons why the Browns will lose.
All right, and my losing reasons, my 3 reasons why the Browns will lose coming up on Sunday. Injuries on the defense. Jake Trotter with ESPN, the Browns reporter for ESPN, who's been on the show multiple times. He tweeted out earlier today. You mentioned Denzel Ward, Kev. Denzel Ward is listed as questionable for Sunday with a groin injury. Olivia Vernon, defensive end for the Browns, of course, and Greedy Williams are ruled out already. Again, the secondary just continues to be impacted by that. Linebacker Mack Wilson is questionable as well. So the Browns defense, who I was worried about even when they were completely healthy, is just decimated with injuries through the first couple weeks. Not an excuse, it's just the reality of it. If the Browns lose on Sunday, I think it's going to be because of the weakness of the defense. Joe Burrow played real well last week. He really did. He took advantage. And again, good players have to find to take advantage of deficiencies on other teams. Joe Burrow moved the ball real well against the Browns defense, and the Browns defense couldn't stop anybody. They could not get a stop as far as that's concerned. Some key turnovers for the Bengals really opened the door for the Browns to pull away late in that game. But yeah, the injuries in the defense, especially the secondary and linebacker play for the Browns, is why I believe they could potentially lose coming up on Sunday. Chase Young, if the Browns offensive line, which they get Conklin back this week, they did not have him last week, they get him back. I think it's going to be, that offensive line is going to have their hands full. You talked about Washington leading the league in sacks already. Chase Young in his very first season as a rookie for Washington, 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, already one of the league leaders in sacks on the season in the infancy stages of the 2020 season. But look, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch as far as defensive tackles is concerned and the pass rushers. You're going to have Myles Garrett on the side of the Browns, and then, of course, Chase Young for Washington. It's going to be a fun one as far as watching that is concerned. And then the last reason right here, Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera's, sometimes it comes down to this. You have 2 teams with a lot of question marks. Who has the better coaching? I don't know enough about Kevin Stefanski, but I do trust Ron Rivera. That's the one. I think that was the best hire Washington could have made is for that head coaching spot. And Ron Rivera is who I would give the nod to as far as the coaching matchup is concerned. So Ron Rivera, the better coach of the 2. You look at the fact that the Browns secondary and linebackers are decimated by injuries, and of course the pass rush. If they can't get the run game established, established, which I don't think they'll have a problem doing. But if that's the case, I am worried that they're going to rely on Baker and OBJ in the passing game a little too much, and that's where Chase Young can come into play. So that was our that was our 3 and outs for the Cleveland Browns. Kev Nash and I went 3 and out with the Cleveland Browns, and we'll go 3 and outs with your Cincinnati Bengals coming up here just around the corner. Browns fans, help us dissect that. Where were we wrong? What were we right about? And what would you add? The Cleveland Browns, Washington coming up this week. How about this? The Cleveland Browns have the easiest strength of schedule remaining for the final 12 or for the final 14 games of the season.
Really?
The easiest strength of schedule. The Cleveland Browns do.
They play the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's, you have
the Cowboys, Philly,
Washington Giants, and so those, not the Washington Giants. I meant like Washington, the Giants. So for those
the Washington Buckeyes. I don't know. I mean, they still have the Ravens twice, the Steelers twice.
No, I think every team has there's always those cogs, though, those horses within every conference. But again, when you look at the conferences that they're matched up against, it does provide some, definitely not off nights. The Browns are one of their biggest opponents. The Browns are always their biggest opponent almost every week. But Browns fans, we're going to step away for a few moments. The phone lines are open at 457-9464. You can also chime in the chat section on Facebook. Go to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. You can watch us live and leave your comments and reaction in the chat below. What did we miss? Are we overreacting to some things? The Browns and why I feel like this should be a game that the Browns get on Sunday. If they are as good as what I think they are, and that roster looks like, this should be a game that they win. But what are you worried about, Browns fans? Are you confident that the Browns come away with the win? They're 7-point favorites over Washington this weekend. We'll be back in a moment. Let's hear from you, Browns fans.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter finds the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists.
And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hello? Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Do you want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
David Brandon will make an excellent probate judge.
He's honorable, he's honest, he's a diligent worker, competent, very thorough in his work.
I think he will take the time to be conscientious and thoughtful about his decision making.
It isn't just that he knows the law, though, it's that he cares and why that matters.
Dave Brandon will work hard for the families of Montgomery County.
David was there for me, and I feel like he'll be there for other families as well. He knows the right thing to do.
I am David Brandon, and I approve this message.
Collett Propane has been serving the Buckeye Nation in the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Collett Seal Coating reminds home and business owners that now is the time to protect your asphalt from the ravages of old man winter. Extend the life of your surfaces and protect your investment. Call us for a free quote at 937-372-9194.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Collett Propane and Collett Seal Coating are proud to serve the Buckeye Nation.
I'm thinking of you. What kinder words could be more meaningful at a time like this? At First Florist and Greenhouses, we know everyone is coping the best they can. And when hugs are not possible, a kind word or gesture can bring comfort and a smile. So today, make that phone call or send a heartfelt note to someone you care about. And if you'd like to send a fresh bouquet of flowers, we can help with that. We're First Florist and Greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton, a local family-owned business since 1905. And we're thinking of you.
Champagne Dental, taking the fear out of dentistry.
Champagne Dental Group in Urbana knows how important it is for you to have a healthy, bright smile. We believe maintaining oral health is an integral aspect of your overall health. This is why we want to reward you for your regular checkups with our Forever Bright Teeth Whitening Program. Call today to set up an appointment and let us help make your smile bright. Champagne Dental Group in Urbana, 653-8650 and online at champagnedentalgroup.org.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun. Looking for something to do? Go Bowling America is an 8-week fun league for adults, young adults, and youth beginning at the end of September and through October. Plus, get a new twist bowling ball for joining. Polking Bowling Centers provide a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for all the details. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle. With options like Blind Spot Assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in our 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model, availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment is practice optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through September 30th, 2020.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
The Reds are on the radio.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is finally here. There are only 60 games this season, so don't miss a second of the action.
Winker hammers one to deep right field, and that is a no-doubter.
Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ah, yes, the Justin Kinner Bowl coming up in 2 weeks. No, next week. The Browns will be at the Cowboys, a 1 o'clock kickoff on that Sunday. The Justin Kinner Bowl.
Oh, man. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Well, damn, who am I going for?
Yeah.
I think the Browns. But that'll be a huge game for both because really no one's – I mean, like if the Cowboys get a big win against the Seahawks this weekend, you can't turn around and lose to the Browns.
If they're both 2-1, doing one matchup.
The Browns have a better chance of winning this week than
Absolutely.
The Cowboys do. So we'll see.
or the Browns are 2-1 and your precious Cowboys are 1-2, desperately looking for a win.
The thing is, too, it's not that I don't like Dak Prescott, but I still don't look at him as the guy. He had a great game, but if he follows it up, I'll buy in 1,000,000% if they beat the Seahawks this week. And I don't want to hear what's tough to win at Seattle. It's going to be, you could hear a pin drop in Seattle this week. There's no excuses. Here's why. I'm not saying because by saying that there's no chance to beat the Seahawks on Sunday, that means you are already admitting that you are not one of the top teams in the National Football League. Because if the Ravens were going to play at Seattle, we wouldn't say that they don't have a chance to win at the Seahawks. If the Chiefs are going to play at Seattle, we wouldn't say that, the atmosphere is too tough, they don't have a chance to win there. So why am I hearing analysts all week, playing at Seattle, that's going to be too tough of a place for them to play? No, it won't be. And if it is, so be it. Because like I'm saying,
that's football.
When we talk about the real teams in the NFL, you would never hear us say that about, the Chiefs or the Ravens or even the Steelers that, I don't know if they could win there. The reason we wouldn't say that is because we view them as the top teams in football. And if we're saying that about the Cowboys, that means we are already acknowledging that, that we don't trust them winning. So if Dallas wants to prove that they're for real, they got to get that win on the road. And I don't even know what Seattle's policy is for their games as far as attendance.
There's attendance, and I think every team has piped in noise, but the piped in noise is capped to a certain decibel.
What was their thing, like the 12th man or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So it's more like the fourth man, like with limited fans. Now so the Cowboys, they have to go up against the fourth man on Sunday. Oh, okay. Act like I've done this before. Just hit the hell out of the mic. But yeah, so again, we Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, we did our 3 and out with the Cleveland Browns. 3 reasons why we believe they will win, 3 reasons why we believe they will lose. To sum up our 3 and out, Kev, it was a lot of the fact that the beat up defense, the secondary, and Mike messages into the show. He says that until we get to see the Browns as healthy as can be on defense, we really won't get a good idea of what this team is. Maybe I like I said before, we need to see the offense click.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited last Thursday just for me to talk smack to Bengals fans, but at the end of the day, it was the Bengals, so I'm not putting too much stock into it. And even if they play real well against Washington, I'm going to be satisfied with it because, for one, to be a good team, you got to beat the bad teams. And the Browns beat a bad team last Thursday. Yeah. They got a bad team that they're going up against on Sunday. So if you beat the Bengals and you beat up on Washington, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to feel good about that. But I'm also not going to do this, Baker's back, baby. Look, the Cowboys, I'm going to really be interested to see how Baker performs against the Cowboys. You have the Colts, and then you have the Steelers coming up around the corner. Cowboys, Steelers, Colts, or Cowboys, Colts, Steelers. That's the big 3 coming up. It could be a crap show in Cleveland here in the next 3 weeks. And that's why I also believe when you look at the next 3 opponents for the Browns after this week, that's why it's important that you get the win this week. Because if you go 1-2 on the road at Dallas, and then you have the Colts after that, who aren't great, but again, I think the Colts they're just like Cleveland. I don't think you know what you're going to get every week, but there is some potential there. But I'll still take Cleveland. And then you got the Steelers. That's kind of, this is a tough 3-game stretch coming up, even though they do have the easiest schedule remaining. Keep in mind, they do have the Texans, the Eagles, the Jaguars, the Giants, the Jets. There's a lot of winnable games on here.
Your road to 12 wins.
No. Don't you dare disrespect the path to the 12 wins.
Hey, man, it's the NFL. Any win you earn in the NFL is a great win. You can rag on it. This isn't, college football where we talk about Alabama scheduling the Citadel and Ohio State scheduling, Miami of Ohio and stuff like that.
This you mean the MAC champions?
This guy.
Those guys, those Buckeye fans, that's what they said. Don't disrespect Miami of Ohio. They're the MAC champions. The Buckeyes beat the MAC champions.
I'm just saying, this is the NFL. Everybody is a quality opponent when you get a victory. So, if they get that 12th win, like you said, Justin Kinner's name and lights.
Bravo. They got to get through Washington, and then the Cowboys, then the Colts, then the Steelers. Then they got the Bengals again. So, I see a Band-Aid coming up around the corner. Hey, folks, for those of you who were, we talked earlier about the possibility of seeing Trevor Bauer pitch on Sunday in a potential playoff clinching game if they don't get it done tonight or tomorrow. But how about this? Could we see Homer Bailey pitch against the Reds on Sunday? I have an update on Homer Bailey's status with the Twins as far as Sunday is concerned. Also, we haven't heard about Tom Brenneman in a while. We have an update on Tom Brenneman's future with the Cincinnati Reds. I'll explain next. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Today, everyone is expecting you to maintain a new level of clean, from customers and employees to students and staff. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. We'll keep you well stocked with cleaning supplies, professionally laundered uniforms, and other essentials like face masks, hand sanitizer, and thermometers. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like pro.
Mike Foley is proud to serve as our Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, and he's asking for our vote again this November. Mike is a father, a U.S. veteran, and has been a small business owner for over 20 years. He's not a career politician, but a leader that gets things done. Mike Foley has saved taxpayers over $3 million in less than 2 years in office by running the clerk's office more efficiently. He truly brings the courthouse to the community. For all the right reasons, let's re-elect Mike Foley, Montgomery County Clerk of Courts.
This is Mike Foley, and I approve this message.
Hey, it's your homie. Sorry, it's your home. I know you don't like it when I call myself your homie. So I have some favors to ask you. Could you get rid of a few chairs in the living room? My floorboards are tired. Another easy thing, we could save money if you bundled your home and car insurance with Geico. One more thing. I know you love lavender scented candles, but could we try Tahitian vanilla? I think it would fit my vibe better.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
Pros today have to do whatever the job calls for, and the Home Depot is here to help make that easier. With a wide range of delivery options, you can get what you need, from job lot quantities to small supply runs, delivered where and when you need it. Don't want to buy the tool? Rent it. We've got the most innovative products and more ways for pros to find them, in-store and online. Pros are changing, so are we. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
The biggest local and national guests sit down for the biggest interviews with Justin Kinner on 1410 Wing Live. Presented by Arrowhead Tax Service. Follow along live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page and catch all previous episodes at wingam.com. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. It's the Justin Kinner Show. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Hour 2, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Friday. We just went 3 and out with the Cleveland Browns. We gave you 3 reasons why we believe that the Browns will win on Sunday, and then we gave you 3 reasons why we believe the Browns will lose on Sunday. Of course, that's our 3 and out with the Browns. We're going to go 3 and out with the Bengals coming up here in just a moment. Browns fans are sending in theirs as we speak right now. The reasons why they're going to win, there's a lot of those. Of course, Browns fans don't believe they're going to lose on Sunday, Kev. I haven't really gotten any negativity, which is shocking. The closest to a negative reaction was from Mike earlier when he said, until the Browns are completely healthy on defense, we won't get a good feel for who they are. But you could say that about any team that's truly banged up. All I care about is what is out on the field, and I still think that with a team that has that much talent on the offensive side, if you're losing, it better be because you're losing 30-28 and not losing 30-17 or something.
Yeah.
Because then that means even if you had a defense, you'd still be losing 21-17. Because so that's where I'm at. Like, I need to see the offense continue to dominate bad opponents. They did it last week against the Bengals. Will they do it again against Washington? Even though Washington has a little bit more meat on their defensive side, so we'll see how that goes. I got an update for you as far as the Reds and Twins series. A lot of Reds fans throughout the week were pretty excited about the possibility of Homer Bailey being on the mound come Sunday. His spot within the rotation would have fallen perfectly on Sunday. And how funny would that have been, just storyline-wise? Like, one thing I love about the NBA is the NBA thrives off of not the games themselves. Like, when we talk about game ratings for NBA, the reason that the NBA is the second most popular professional sport out there is not because of the games themselves. It's because of the storylines. For instance, you do have a possibility of LeBron James. Like, imagine if they weren't playing in a bubble. Can you imagine LeBron James playing at Miami in the NBA Finals, where he went to 4 NBA Finals with and won 2 championships, going up against his former coach in Spoelstra? Like, I love the storylines write themselves. Like, it's WWE-esque with the storylines. That's what the NBA thrives on. Baseball, that doesn't happen too often. However, there would have been an internal storyline of potentially Homer Bailey, against maybe Trevor Bauer on Sunday with the winning team. Well, actually, the Twins are already in the playoffs, but the Reds would need to beat Homer Bailey to get in. Well, that storyline, we could scrap it because the Twins just basically designated for assignment Homer Bailey today. So he will not be available for Sunday's game. Again, it was a long shot, but I was circling that in my notes throughout the week as something to keep an eye on for maybe potentially heading into that, where the Reds and Twins with Homer Bailey on the mound, and the Reds need to win on Sunday to get into the playoffs, and Homer Bailey's what's in their way. I just thought that would have been kind of interesting.
Storyline sells sports. I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, it's soap opera. That's exactly what it is. I mean, everything that's going on, like right now with Philadelphia 76ers, the soap opera there, talking about potentially D'Antonio going there and Harden being traded there. Like, these are all storylines that just keep the league turning. And the same thing goes for the NFL. I mean, Antonio Brown has been brought up again. This time it's with the Texans. Yeah. Like, it's the story that will never end. And as we found out last week talking about AB, the suspension started week 1, and he doesn't have to be on the team for him to serve his suspension. So I'm assuming he's going to be back on the team come week 9.
I bet you there are teams who have secretly been in touch with him because what happens is you don't want to be known as the team that's reaching out to him, because then, like, you're trying to feel it out. But then if someone else says, oh, no, we want him, and then they come in and grab him real quick, I bet you there's a lot of behind closed door meetings, or at least text, phone calls, or whatever the not legal, but whatever the proper protocols are for communicating with him at this point. It wouldn't surprise me. Texans make a lot of sense, but that's shame on you guys for getting rid of Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't willing to pay Hopkins, but you're going to get Antonio Brown, who Hopkins, Brown, talent-wise the same, but I would always roll in favor of Hopkins because just not as much a distraction, and you don't have to worry about it.
Big receiver, AB is still a great receiver, but he's a smaller receiver and everything like that. And obviously everything that him and Deshaun Watson built over those years there at Houston, that camaraderie, they have a bond going back to their college days at Clemson. So, you let them walk, but now whoever gets AB is going to get them for the cheap, very cheap.
Yeah. Real quick. And by the way, we'll keep an eye on that too. But storyline sell, that would have been one heck of a storyline.
Oh, absolutely.
Had it come down to Homer Bailey, multiple no-hitters with the Reds. And again, was very disappointing ending to his career in Cincinnati and the departure. There was a lot more expectations for him, especially. And the money that went his way, people believe should have went to Cueto. My point is it's easy to look back and say that now. I had no problem with the Reds picking, and again, this is an old Reds fans love to harp on this one. I had no problem with the Reds going to Homer Bailey over Johnny Cueto at the time. Okay, because what fans don't do is do not rewind their emotions back to the day of that contract. Because if you did, you would remember that Johnny Cueto couldn't stay healthy for anything. And when you're about to fork over a big time max contract for a pitcher, you don't really want a bunch of lingering injuries in recent history that is going to be in the back of your mind. Homer Bailey was healthy and he had 2 no-hitters and he was on the rise. I had no problem with them forking over the money for him versus Cueto. Now, in typical Reds luck and fashion, you want to bring up luck again, the Reds would go on and Cueto just would dominate, and he had Cy Young level seasons, and had he actually pitched on better teams, probably would have won it. This goes to a question now. This is coming from Dean McDonald. He says, has there ever been a Reds pitcher to win the Cy Young? No, this is history in the making right now. Trevor Bauer can close this out. Cueto was close, but again, the Reds had to bid farewell to him, knowing that they couldn't keep him. Of course, people keep bringing up the Butcher trade. As far as that's concerned, not getting much back in return for him. In other Reds news, quickly, how about this? So we've been waiting for an update on Tom Brenneman. Tom Brenneman, about a month and a half ago, was suspended for using a slur during a broadcast that he did not know he was live on television. And I'm not making an excuse. I mean, the fact that when he apologizes, it's a question of, okay, is he sorry that he said it or sorry that he got caught? Because I think we all in our everyday lives say things that had a camera been around, we'd be like, oh crap, this really sucks. I'm so sorry I said that. But really, would you be sorry? Or is it one of those where you're just sorry that there was a camera around that caught it when you weren't expecting? This is one of those situations where Tom Brenneman had no clue that the mics were hot, which in our business, in our industry, you always have to assume that the mics are hot as far as that goes. But we do have an update as far as the future and the career of Tom Brenneman in Cincinnati. It's no more. The Reds have not fired Tom Brenneman. I think you see this a lot of times with coaches who depart their teams. I think behind closed doors, you're having conversations that are like, look, we're not going to go. This isn't going any further. So we're going to give you the opportunity to resign, to maybe save a little face here and go out on top as much as you can. Tom Brenneman has resigned. He announced that he has planned to resign from his role with Major League Baseball's club in Fox Sports Ohio. He goes on to say that my family and I have decided that I'm going to step away from my role as the television voice of the Cincinnati Reds. Tom Brenneman said, I would like to thank the Reds fans, and the LGBTQ community for the incredible support and grace they have shown my family and me. So Tom Brenneman, longtime Reds TV broadcaster, was actually brought in originally to do radio. I remember talking to him about that a while back. He'd come in just to do some select games on radio and ultimately got the TV gig. But yeah, Tom Brenneman is officially resigning as the TV voice of the Reds moving forward. So interesting. We lost, Right. Marty retired last year. The drastic differences between Marty's farewell tour and Tom's, obviously vastly different. But back-to-back seasons where Marty Brenneman resigns, except one went out more on top than the other.
Where does he land? Does he land back on his feet with another baseball team, or you think he'll have to go work his way back up?
I think he'll definitely land back. I think this was just a cover face. Look, here's the deal. I'm not saying that the Reds condoned what he did, but I believe if what he had done was drastic enough to the point to where he should have been fired, he would have been fired. And you can argue, nepotism. You can argue that if he wasn't a Brenneman, he would have been fired. Maybe, but you know what I mean? Again, the fact that he wasn't fired says to me that, yes, he will be back in a broadcast booth at some point. Do I think it'll be as early as next year? No, I do not. But I wouldn't be surprised if a network picks him up, and maybe he's not a broadcaster for a while. Maybe he does some, analyst roles, maybe for Fox Sports. I don't know. Actually, he just got let go from Fox Sports, so that probably wouldn't work either.
Network.
ESPN. They wouldn't touch that, so they're not going to go there. You're right. MLB Network, that's probably, put him with Russo. You go, imagine that. I mean, so no, I do believe you'll see Tom Brenneman again, but I think this was the right thing for both sides to separate. I don't dislike Tom at all. I'm just very angry that he screwed up like that. he's a talented guy. He's a polarizing guy. You bring up his name and you either hate him or you love him. There's no in between, but you can't defend what he did. So it's just kind of, it sucks that he's gone, but I'm not going to defend it at all. It needed to be done. So,
yeah, I was talking to one of my uncles about like baseball and sports in general back in the day, before everything was on delay, with TV delay or whatever. They would watch games and turn it down on the TV and turn up the radio calls and everything like that. And, people that grew up with these voices in their household, listening to baseball, listen to football games, like they're iconic names in their cities, whomever the guy is. Every city has that iconic guy that's been calling games for years. And now, that was kind of being passed down to him. And that opportunity just basically he kicked it down the road, man, for a major error. And us being in the radio business, we know how difficult it is to speak X amount of hours a day and make sure you don't say something that could potentially get you fired. I mean, you and I have heated debates all the time about this, that, and the third, and we try we try our best to make sure we keep it clean. But I know I've been there, and I forget that we're actually on the radio. Feels like we're just in the hallway back in the good old days.
Put mics on us in the hallway.
So, people that like wrecking them for it and everything like that, you're 100% correct. It is messed up. But this job, talking about sports very passionately, is a very difficult thing to do when you're making sure you're keeping your words right and making sure you're not saying something that's out of pocket. Be it a cuss word, be it, in his case, a slur, like is very difficult to do.
Yep. And of course, the Reds Content Plus, like the Red Leg Nation, I can't stand them. They are having a ball with this. Like, these guys are trying to act like they are holier than thou and that they've never said anything wrong, and they are just crushing Tom on here. They have been crushing Tom before Tom screwed up. So I'm bringing them up to put them on blast, to let people know, do not fall for their holier than thou bull crap. And I'm not defending what Tom said at all, because I just got done saying that I agreed with the suspension. I agreed with them moving on. But this Steve Mancuso and these guys on, I'm shouldn't even Reds Content Plus, where they actually charge people so they can go look at their calculations about baseball. Forget that. Don't don't waste a dime on that stuff. I mean, literally, thoughts on Tom Brenneman's resignation. Enough. Like, these guys, all they do is they've always hated Tom. They try to act like, I don't want my broadcaster to have an agenda and blah, blah, blah. But yet they try to pretend to be a real media outlet over here, and all they do is have an agenda to just talk crap about Marty and Tom the whole time. Sorry, I'm going on a rant here on a Friday. I should be in a good mood, but I can't stand these guys. They're the most obnoxious people. And I don't even, I can't say it, because even when I unfollow them, like, a lot of people that do they still keep popping up. But I don't want to block them, because I like seeing the dumb crap that they post so that I can go off on it here on the show. But Steve Mancuso, enough of your crap. Stop trying to pretend to be some media guy or just another typical blogger down in your mom's basement trying to be holier than thou, and you're not. So there, I'm done with my childish banter as far as that's concerned. See, luckily I don't have a hot mic now. How about that? We good? We good?
I guess so. Are you?
I'm fine. Blood pressure's good. I took the medicine today. Boom. All right, let's go 3 and out with the Cincinnati Bengals coming up around the corner. Cincinnati in their matchup, they are a 5-point underdog against the Eagles. Let's go 3 and out with the Bengals when we come back. Top 3 reasons they'll win, top 3 reasons they'll lose. I only get 3, right? We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
A sun and cloud mix today with a high of 81 degrees. Overnight, partly cloudy, dry conditions, and a low of 60 degrees. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine and a high of 84 degrees. And I'm Lorna Stevens for 1410 ESPN Radio.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Uniques Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
An aging parent with dementia, a mother whose adult son is addicted to drugs. Probate judges help families facing tough decisions. That's why attorney David Brannon is the right choice for Montgomery County probate judge. Over the past 15 years, Brannon has worked to protect those in need and to get the right answers for families in probate court. And David Brannon is the only candidate certified as a probate expert. David Brannon for probate judge.
I am David Brannon, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is John McManus, Chief Deputy to Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley. Because of a recent change in Ohio law, you can now have your documents notarized online. Clerk Mike Foley is pleased to offer you this service today. If you would like to request an online notarization, please visit courthouse2u.com and click on Online Notary to make an appointment. You can now enjoy our same great customer service from the comfort of your home. Visit courthouse2u.com today.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Reds fans, don't miss the Justin Kinner Show, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll get the latest Reds news, headlines, lineups, player features, and recaps. Don't miss a game or a show on Dayton's home of the Reds, ESPN 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Eagles and Bengals will kick off coming up on Sunday. The Bengals are a 5-point underdog. That line has shifted more in favor of the Bengals, but still a full possession plus underdog, or full possession underdog heading into that matchup with the Eagles. Two teams 0-2, desperately looking for a win on Sunday. I think that the Eagles are more desperate than the Bengals, mainly because the Bengals have this weird obsession with, hey, who cares about the result of the game as long as we feel good about how we looked. I've never understood that, but there we are. Bengals and Eagles coming up on Sunday. Earlier in the show, we went 3-0 with the Browns. 3 reasons why the Browns would win, 3 reasons why they would lose. Now we're going to do the same thing with your Cincinnati Bengals. Kev, let's go 3-0 with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Browns, Bengals, Justin Kinner and Kev Nash go 3-0.
All right, I'll get things started. You got it started for the Browns last time. I'll get it started for the Bengals. I'm going to start out being good news or bad news. Should we start out with the
bad news? Bad news.
We'll start with the bad.
Yeah,
I don't like ending with the. I don't want the Bengals to think I'm.
I know that's why I did.
All right, so I asked you. I got to follow through. So we're going to start out. It's 3-0 with the Bengals. 3 reasons why the Bengals will win. 3 reasons why the Bengals will lose. Kevin and I will both give you our 3 reasons why they'll win and 3 reasons why they'll lose. And then we will take your Bengals calls at 457-9464 or head to Facebook. You can watch the show live and give us your 3-0, 3 reasons why you believe they'll win or why they'll lose. Leave it in the comment section below. How about this? Dean McDonald says, don't underestimate the 2-16 Taylor Bengals, Kinner. The Eagles look pretty bad too. Hoo-day. So there you go. That's how it's done. You comment in the comment section. We'll pull your comments into the show. So let's hit the ground running. You want me to start with the bad, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with why the Bengals will lose this Sunday. They will lose this Sunday if Zach Taylor tries to pull what he did against the Cleveland Browns. And if you let Joe Burrow throw the ball 60-plus times against this Eagles defense, which, by the way, overall, not a very good defense, but against the pass, they're top 10 in total yards given up as far as against the pass, and also as far as scoring through the air as well. Now, I don't know if that – look, they had a lot of positivity coming in as far as expectations for their defense coming in. They were expected to win the NFC East. This is a defense that has also gone up against Washington and gone up against the Titans in back-to-back weeks. And let's be clear, as far as that's concerned, both teams not really the best air-it-out type of teams, right? So, as far as that's concerned, how tested have they truly been? But that's the one thing. If you are Zach Taylor and you tried to air it out with Joe Burrow, you will lose this ball game coming up. And as I mentioned, Eagles top 10 total yards versus the pass and total yards in general as far as defense is concerned. The Bengals have to focus on that run game. I know Zach Taylor was brought over to focus on airing it out and opening up the offense. But if that's what he tries to do this Sunday when the team is not equipped to do it, look out. I will say this, though. Joe Burrow will not be running for his life as much against the Eagles. They only have 3.5 sacks on the season. That's third to last in the National Football League, so we shall see. I mean, we talked earlier about Chase Young. They only have 4. The Eagles only have 4 total sacks on the season. Chase Young for Washington has 2.5 all on his own already. So they don't put a lot of pressure on your team. So the Bengals should be in a position to maybe counter that, but we'll see. We'll find out just how bad if this offensive line can't protect Joe Burrow against this Eagles team who has no pass rush, then I will be as loud as you can and obnoxious on Monday as it could possibly be. I told everyone they need an offensive line, but we'll see. We'll see what they can do. That's my 3 and out for why I believe the Bengals will lose coming up on Sunday. What are your 3 reasons why the Bengals will lose before we get to the wins?
All right, number 3 for me is much like you said. Philadelphia has a very good pass defense, but they have 0 interceptions. And Joe Burrow, through 2 games, only has 1 interception, and that was a rookie mistake interception. So he's due for one of those rookie 3 interception games, and Philly is also due for one of those big-time turnover games. So definitely be on the lookout for some interceptions from Philadelphia if the Bengals lose this game.
Real quick, I said Titans, Rams. It was the Rams, not the Titans, so continue.
So we're on to number 2. Miles Sanders, former Penn State running back. He gets loose. No Geno. They've been ran on heavily. Bengals have been run on heavily. I believe the Browns went for 215 last week. Miles Sanders can go for $1.15. So you got to shut down Miles Sanders. If Miles Sanders gets loose, that's a problem. And number 1 reason the Bengals will lose, Carson just wakes up. He just wakes up, man. He's just looking like he's going through the motions. I know this whole big deal about, their first round pick. He dislocated a finger. He's out. But Deshaun Jackson is still there. Ertz is still there. They still got weapons for him to get the ball to. It just seems like he's stuck in the mud right now. So Carson Wentz has to wake up. If Carson Wentz wakes up, they can beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's a good point too. I'm going to add to my list. I'm not adding to it. I'm piggybacking off what you said. The Redskins and the Rams are 2 of the top 10 defenses overall in the National Football League. Carson Wentz, I've never been a big fan of Carson Wentz. If I had to pick between Wentz and Dak, and you've asked me this before the season, before I even saw Wentz struggling, I said, as much as I beat up on Dak, I would take Dak over Carson Wentz. I said that before these first 2 games, to be clear. But Carson Wentz has gone up against 2 of the top defenses in the National Football League as far as pass rush is concerned. That's the other thing too. The Bengals have to find a way to get Dunlap and Atkins involved and get that pass rush involved. If you put pressure on him, he's horrible this first couple games. That's why I'm concerned too. The Bengals haven't been that great as far as pass rush is concerned to start. If Carson Wentz has time within that pocket, you let him get comfortable. Who knows? They might turn it around and kind of get a little comfortable. So the Bengals will lose this weekend if that is the case. All right, let's end on a positive note. This is the most painful week. Everyone loves Fridays. I hate Fridays because every Friday I have to come up with a list of why I think the Bengals are going to win on Sunday. It's our 3 and out with the Browns and Bengals. 3 reasons why we believe that they will win and 3 reasons why we believe they will lose. Here's my 3 reasons why I believe that the Bengals will win coming up on Sunday. And I promise you, Bengals fans, as much as you can't stand me, I'm going to give it my best shot every week to list why I believe that they will win. The reason I believe that they will win is that when you look at the Eagles' total yardage that they give up on the season, there are only 4 teams that are worse than them as far as that is concerned. The Giants, Vikings, Washington, and Jets are the only teams who give up more yardage than the Eagles. If the Bengals were to kind of get it rolling a little bit offensively, if A.J. Green finally kind of shakes the rust off a little bit, if Joe Burrow is able to establish some kind of a rhythm a little bit with Tyler Boyd and with A.J. Green on the outside, maybe, get T. Higgins involved. He has not kind of really popped onto the scene yet. If there was a week for them to get it going, it is against this Eagles secondary as far as that's concerned, because that's really been it as far as that. Or there's, the pass rush, he's not going to have a lot of pressure on him as far as that goes. Here's the other reason I believe that the Bengals have a chance to win on Sunday. The reason that they lost and got embarrassed against the Browns last Thursday, and if you want to look at score differential and say that they didn't get embarrassed, they got embarrassed. They could not stop the run to save their life. When you look at the Eagles right now, they are one of the worst rushing teams in football. I know what you talked about with their running back, but again, this is a situation where the Giants, Texans, and Jets are the only teams that have less total rushing yards on the season. So if there is a team to kind of get the Eagles going, maybe in the run game as far as that goes, it could be against Cincinnati, one of the worst teams against the run. But again, the Eagles have not been able, to stop they have not been a great rushing team. I think the Bengals will be fine there. And the third reason I believe that they will win on Sunday is because I have enough faith in 12-year-old Zach Taylor that he is not going to air it out 60 times to Joe Burrow. All right. When you look at the Eagles offense, the defense, they are giving up 271 yards a game, Kev. The Eagles are giving up 271 rushing yards, not total yards, rushing yards. The Eagles are giving up against, by the way, Washington is one of the first teams. That's not a good running team. They're giving up on average 271 rushing yards. That's insane. So get Joe Mixon. You paid him $12.5 million. Let him run the damn ball and do not let Joe Burrow throw it 60 times. That's a failure waiting to happen as far as that's concerned. So again, total yardage as far as I'm concerned for the Eagles offense, only 3 teams worse than them as far as giving up more. And then, of course, they're one of the worst rushing teams in football and the NFL. And then, of course, get Joe Mixon involved. The Eagles, well, they give up 271. How about you do to the Eagles what the Browns did to you last week? Then you'll be in position to win this ball game. So there, it was painful. Bengals fans, those are my 3 reasons why I believe the Bengals have a shot to win against the Eagles, who they're a 5-point underdog against on Sunday.
Very much the same with you. I'm 100% with you. It's all about the Joes. All about Joes is number 3, Joe Mixon. Feed him the rock. You paid him, give him the rock. Give him the rock a lot. Number 2, quick passing game for Joe Burrow. We know the offensive line struggles in pass protection and run blocking. So you stop that by getting the ball out quick. Some tunnel screens, some bubble screens, some actual screens to the running backs. Work the short game for a minute. But most importantly, you got to hit the long ball. Joe Burrow is 0 for 6 on deep passes this season. You have to be able to hit the home run ball. The home run ball, the opening drive versus the Browns, he missed it. AJ was open. He missed him. He laid him out of bounds.
I like this segment.
So, Joe Burrow, you have to hit the long ball. You hit the long ball all season long with LSU. You got a great receiver at AJ Green. I know he's rusty, working his way back, but he was open on that play. You got to hit it. And by 0 for 6.
One of the big weaknesses for Joe Burrow was arm strength. There wasn't many weaknesses. Joe Burrow checked off pretty much every major box. If there was any flaw of his game coming in, it was arm strength. And to that point right there, we know he's accurate. Arm strength, though, you're right, though. And by the way, I think that'll open up more. I think that's a timing thing. Yeah. No preseason. I'll defend him there. For one, the target that he missed is A.J. Green, who, by the way, A.J. Green and Joe Burrow did not get a preseason together as far as preseason games. A.J. Green also hasn't played in 2 full seasons, and, he's playing with a rookie quarterback after playing with Andy Dalton for his entire career. So there's a lot of adjustments that are going to be made in the coming weeks. But this is a big game for both the Eagles and the Bengals. Both, one or the other is going to have a breakout game. I don't think it's going to be one of those 17-14 hard to watch offensive games. I think one of the teams, I think it's a blowout. I just don't know which side yet.
Calling a blowout.
I'm calling a blowout. One of these teams, because
not a lot of blowouts in the NFL.
Both teams are bad defensively. And it's going to be a matter of are the defenses bad enough to allow the other offense with all their deficiencies to get it going. This is the week for the Bengals to get it going offensively, to get into some kind of groove against a bad defensive Eagles team as far as overall defense. Against the pass, they're in the top 10 as far as that goes, so that'll be interesting. But if you're the Eagles as well, you're trying to keep up with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys lose to the Seahawks and the Eagles end up getting a win against all of a sudden the Bengals. They're tied for first in that division, as crazy as that sounds. So, and then if the Browns screw it all up and lose to Washington, it could be a three-way tie in the NFC East for first as far as that goes. So I tell you what, McDonald on Facebook says the AFC North is better when they are all winning. Prove me wrong. I'm pulling for the AFC North, but I will say this: they can't all win.
Right.
They can't. I mean, that's 4 losses just within the division for the Browns and Bengals against the Steelers and Ravens right now. Will the Browns get a win at all against the Steelers or Ravens?
Yes. They'll beat the Steelers once.
Well, the Bengals?
No.
I agree. I don't think they'll beat the Steelers once. I think they beat Baltimore next time, not trying to be funny. I think the Steelers are to Cleveland what the Cubs are to the Reds. That's why last year was so disappointing that after they finally got that win against Pittsburgh, it felt like a loss. Even when the Browns won, they lost. So to me, I just think that and a few weeks later when they played again, Cleveland they didn't even look remotely close to what they did the weeks previous.
The Duck Hodges game.
Yeah. Duck, duck, goose.
My guy.
There you go. All right. Brian Schwederman. What's up, Brian? He says, it's hard to hit the long ball on your back. Trade Bobby Hart for a dishwasher and a treadmill. See if you can get an elliptical in there too, Brian. Throw that in there. So McDonald said he meant that games it makes better games when they play. To that point, yes. You know, when a Bengals team that you believe is good enough to get a win and a Browns team is good enough to get a win, go up against the Steelers and Ravens and every week, that makes for much better. Yep.
Especially, we all live in Ohio, so obviously there's tons of Bengals fans, tons of Steelers fans. Tons of Browns fans and tons of Bengals fans, but there's a lot of Steelers fans here. And I also found out there's a couple of Ravens fans in the state of Ohio. It's actually some people that when the Browns left Cleveland, like they went with the Ravens, like they started cheering for the Ravens. It's like a pocket of those fans in the state of Ohio that actually do that root for, or they're the original Browns.
Well, to be fair, 3 years ago with Joe Flacco leading the Ravens, did those Ravens fans stand up?
They were standing up when they got that Super Bowl. I know that.
Not because of Flacco, though.
He balled out in the playoffs, man.
Yeah, so did Nick Foles.
Hey, you ball out. You ball out when it count.
By the way, I wouldn't be against. I kind of want the Bengals defense to be just good enough Sunday to get Carson Wentz out of there. I like Jalen Hurts. I want to see what Jalen Hurts can do in Philly.
I wanted Jalen Hurts with the Steelers so bad.
I thought that's where he was headed.
Me too.
I really did. I thought that's what was going to happen. But I'm sure there's some MAC quarterback that,
yes, sir.
Maybe the MAC champions, go get that guy. How about that?
Hey, man, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, man. Most of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL do not come from your powerhouse programs. They come from the schools that don't win championships. So,
I don't feel like arguing today. So, that's not even like something to argue because you're right. But again, I still don't think teams are putting up South Dakota State to know.
No, they're just going after the best prospect.
Coincidentally enough, North Dakota State has a quarterback right now that's going to go very high. I'm just saying, like our outlier conversation a while back. I know that you can list examples of how these have worked out, but I promise you, there's not a draft room out there that they are saying, forget the big schools, man. We're just going to focus.
No, they're
on
not.
These
It's not that. It's just those are the prospects. Those are the guys that are better. It's the fact that these guys are playing with a ton of talent. And their numbers are inflated because they're playing with a whole bunch of other guys. So
are you saying that, let's say, one of the top quarterbacks in football last year that had 14 guys on his team total go to the NFL, maybe he's not that good? Maybe it's just because he had really good players around him?
It's a possibility.
Who is that?
It's definitely probable.
Joe Burrow. That's
you look like, okay, take a guy like Ken Dorsey from the Miami team that was loaded with guys. Yeah, he was an NFL player. He played for the Browns, and I think he was in the league for like 7-8 years. There's nothing wrong with that. But he wasn't the reason why they were winning and losing games. It was the stars around him. He was basically a point guard, distributing the ball, getting it to his playmakers. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that when you go to these other smaller schools and you're a prospect and you develop the way that you're supposed to, and you're the actual reason why teams are winning, like, you know, it's a certain gleam on you. It's a certain gleam on you. And there's a certain reason why Alabama has so many championships in this recent era of football, and they only have one quarterback that people can even recognize, and he's not even starting right now. I mean, look at Ohio State. Ohio State has a ton of dudes in the NFL. I mean, Ohio State and Alabama, they have the most guys in the NFL. Haskins, Tua. Can you name another quarterback currently in the NFL from those schools? I'm just saying, hey, much as I love Troy Smith, he wasn't an NFL quarterback. Terrell Pryor, he had to play wide receiver.
And he only had one good year at that.
I'm just saying, and I mean, it's not no knock on none of these guys. I mean, the talent around them, but you know a ton of offensive linemen from Alabama and Ohio State. You know a ton of DBs from Ohio State and Alabama. You know a ton of linebackers. You know a ton of wide receivers. Like all these guys,
All right. Again, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Reds, we talked Reds to open up. We'll get back into some of that coming up around the corner. For those of you who missed our conversation with ESPN's Dick Vitale, we'll talk some Dayton Flyers hoops with him coming up around the corner. Hal McCoy will preview the Reds series with the Twins that gets going here tonight. The final 3 games of the regular season. And the Reds do have a path to the playoff. For those who have been watching the whole show, we've gone through the scenarios on how the Reds can clinch a playoff berth tonight. We will revisit some of those scenarios coming up here around the corner. But we close out our football conversation when we come back. Let's take a look at our top 3 matchups in the pros and top 3 in college. What are the matchups that you need to circle and make note of heading into the weekend? A lot of really good games in college. Finally, some good matchups in college football. I'll tell you my 3 matchups to look out for. So will Kev in college and, of course, in the NFL. DJ Killer Kev says, let's go Red Lakes. Let's go Red Lakes. How about that? We'll be back in a minute. Killer Kev, we're getting along better today, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. Or not.
Don't hold your breath.
He had to do the Jerry. He's a judge. That mofo's a judge.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
is he like a real judge, or does he just play one on TV?
No, he was the mayor of Cincinnati as well.
No idea.
Goodness, yeah.
I just thought he broke up hillbilly women fighting on the stage, arguing over baby daddies and stuff. I had no idea.
He was a lawyer, then he was a mayor of Cincinnati talk show host, and now he's a lawyer.
Yeah. By the way, Judge Judy is like the female version of Skip Bayless. Like if you put their pictures side by side, they are a spitting image of one another. And people, I'm telling you, if you're listening, go to your phones, type in Judge Judy, and then type in Skip Bayless. Put their pictures side by side. I promise you, it's eerie. They even argue the same. Like they have these weird eyes and everything. It's weird.
Death eyes.
Yeah. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Our top 3 college football matchups to look out for this weekend and our top 3 NFL matchups. We'll get to that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
Bom dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say, je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estoy con fome. Eu no tomé café de mañana.
Je suis des États-Unis et du viens tu.
Now try Babbel for free. Text VOICE to 484848 to start learning a new language today. That's VOICE to 484848. VOICE to 484848.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Do you want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Looking for fall flavor that really brings the heat? Enjoy a home-style meal with a kick at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, thanks to our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $6.49. Dip into your spicy side with a big helping of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, an individual side, a fluffy biscuit, and a regular drink, all at a great price. It's the easy way to fire up your taste buds. Get a home-style meal made easy with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $6.49. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Make over your kitchen or bathroom with Mohawk tiles. Nothing matches the beauty and durability of porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tile. Right now, get 11% off over 150 in-stock options. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 26th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. Good day, good day, good day, Garden Center.
Hi folks, it's me again to let you know that we've just unloaded a semi-load of fresh new landscape plants of all types. We have nice dwarf Alberta spruce, Mugo pines, taxus, pyramid arborvitae for privacy hedge, lots of nice boxwoods, magnolias, white pines, dwarf blue spruce, topiary shrubs, fat Albert blue spruce, and dwarf Japanese red maples, and dozens of other varieties of shrubs. We also have thousands of shade trees, flowering trees, and fruit trees, and weeping trees. One of the most popular trees is the Cleveland Select flowering pear, which blooms in the spring with nice white blossoms. Every yard should have one. Our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brand Pike is Dayton's biggest, and we've been in business since 1963. Come out and see why.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works Package and the Double Take Tire Specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at your local automotive retailer.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Theme music. Gotta get this theme music updated just a tad. It sounds kind of AM-ish. What are we, AM radio or something? How about that? All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio, our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week. That's, of course, going to be Wayne welcoming in Fairmont, College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself. We will be live in Huber Heights calling the game, so we're excited about that. You have Wayne, who's the number one offense in the GWalk, going up against the number one overall defense in the GWalk in Fairmont. And Fairmont, who's been the best, one of the best, the best defensive team in the GWalk, Kev, they just got their first one of the season last week in Miamisburg. Shea filled in, did a great job, and he had the call for that. But yeah, so defense doesn't always and defense wins championships. Yeah, well, it took 4 weeks to get a win. No offense to them. I'm not like they have some like I love their run game, but sometimes I think like when you trail, that's tough. Like that has to. And I love Dave Miller. I love what he does with that team. But Byers and I talk about that all the time. When they're in control of the game and when they jump out to a lead, they can manage the tempo of the game. But like Wayne tonight, they trail early. That offense is not designed to come back.
Right.
Like that's the problem. So at least they do have one of the top, ranked defenses to at least give them a shot each week. But that has to be frustrating, I'm sure. But man, they have some talent on that roster too. So we're excited for that. 7:00 tonight, the kickoff. It's our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, and it'll feature Wayne. Excuse me, Rona and Fairmont tonight. I told you we all tested negative. You can relax. Sorry.
Where's the Lysol? My hands
all right, let's take a look at our top three matchups. So the top three college football matchups to look out for tomorrow. The first one right off the bat, Kev, the one that stands out to me, it's not about the matchup. It's just about the game itself. I want to see Alabama. I want to see Mac Jones. Because like before, I didn't really care too much, like with Ohio State at the time not being a part of the season. But this is why I love the college football playoff. I don't need the Buckeyes to be playing this weekend for me to be so heavily interested in what's going on. So I'm like all in on Alabama right now. Without Tua Tagovailoa, get to see Jones. Earlier today, Tim Tebow was on ESPN's First Take, and right away he said hit the top two teams that he envisions playing for the national championship, Alabama and Clemson, and he said that those are the top two. He had to give his ranking, the two best teams in college football according to Tim Tebow, Clemson and Alabama. I just Tebowed, by the way. I just wrote on my head with a pen. I'm an idiot. That's why you don't Tebow. Damn it.
You know what? I don't think Clemson's going to make it to the national championship game.
That's my championship team, and I'm a Buckeye fan.
I don't think they're going to make it to the championship game, but that's an argument for later. Who else you got?
What, their plane troubles, bus troubles?
I just I've been doing some scouting.
You didn't see the best teams yet.
I've been doing some scouting, and there's really nothing to do because I still wake up at like 5 a.m. So just replays of these terrible games that they've been playing early in the season. I'm just doing some scouting.
Don't worry about Clemson. They'll be just fine.
Linebackers and safety are suspect.
Okay, that's fine. They struggle stopping some teams. They still got to outscore Clemson, and Clemson will be just fine. Travico says the most dominant performance he's seen in the last 10 years was Kenner versus the Globetrotters, 100% from the field. And he goes, I should say, as a Globetrotter, I should say. Yes, I was a Harlem Globetrotter for one day. And Travico, I appreciate the love, but it was not 100% from the field. I was 2 for 3. I missed my first jumper, buried. They told me just to stand there, have my feet set. No. Kinder's like, I know my range. Ball fake, got the defender in the air, one dribble, boom, buried it. Didn't get back on defense. Guy dunked, and then got a nice little reverse layup in, too. Not as good as Murray's last night, by the way. That was filthy. They did like a side-by-side with MJ's. It was like a spitting image of that. The defense, the angle. Murray had more English, but Michael didn't have to because Michael like covered more ground. Like Michael soared through. Murray had to like
parallel.
Murray had to do that weird short guy thing where they like do the English where they like roll it off the top of the board or whatever. So
a lot of spin on that.
I got the video of the Globetrotter thing. Now that we're live on Facebook, I might have to break that video out next week.
Please do.
Fat Kinner, I look like Butterbean out there in the red, white, and blue shorts. I'm just saying. But no, I'm excited to see Alabama just to kind of get a feel for what they look like offensively. We've been so used to watching what they look like with, Tagovailoa the last couple of years. Is this going to be the traditional Alabama offense before Tua, where it was all about the defense and the ground and pound? Or is Matt Jones going to be able to keep this thing going? I'm curious to see how Alabama looks. They'll put up a lot of points against Missouri because it's Missouri, but at the same time, I'm curious to see what Alabama's approach is. The other matchup I have circled is right here. Cincinnati and Army. That's my second matchup I have circled as far as one of my favorite matchups this weekend. Cincinnati needed to add this Army game.
Mm-hmm.
This was a big addition. I saw some article, does Luke Fickell regret adding Army, who's top 20? No, that's why you add Army. That's why you add a top 25 team, because if Cincinnati runs the table and goes undefeated, I still don't think they get in now that the Pac-12, I don't think is going to be a part of it. But I still don't think Cincinnati gets in if they go undefeated because the Big Ten is back. But I'm telling you, had the Big Ten not come back and Cincinnati ran the table, they would have been in. I do believe the committee would have put them in. Unfortunately, I don't see them getting in no matter what they do this season. But again, this is a big one for Cincinnati coming up on Saturday. And the last game on my list of the top 3 college football matchups to look out for, again, is Miami and Florida State. Miami and Florida State. Miami, number 12 team in the country. They are 11-point favorite against Florida State. It's not, I'm not going to say it's not the early 2010s Florida State, but again, this is always one of those fun matchups right there. Nice little rivalry matchup to start the season here early.
For me, the 3 games I'm looking for, much like yourself, definitely looking forward to that Army UC game. Big time game for the American Conference. It's not only UC in the American, it's Memphis, it's UCF. All those teams are rooting for each other until they play each other because, they want to keep them up. They want to keep themselves up. So that's a big matchup, not only for UC, but for the American Conference itself. Second game I'm looking forward to is Kentucky at Auburn. Like I said earlier in the week, the former backup quarterback at Auburn is now at Kentucky. He's going to be splitting time at the quarterback position. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that game. It's also a ranked matchup. Is Auburn's 8, Kentucky's 23. So definitely looking forward to that.
See, real quick, no one respects the Kentucky backup quarterback until they come to Ohio State, and then everyone loses their mind. You remember that when Gunnar Hoke, the backup quarterback at Kentucky, it's the backup quarterback at Kentucky, not even the starter at Kentucky. Buckeye fans wouldn't even respect the starter at Kentucky, much less the backup at Kentucky. But because Gunnar Hoke went to Ohio State, everyone lost their minds. Man, we got a good one. He's from Dublin. That was my favorite. He's going to be great. He's from Dublin. He gets it. He just gets like, you guys are fools. You guys are fools. I'm sure he's okay. Obviously not, because people were panicking whenever the talk of Justin Fields came out. We'll just see how much people love Gunnar Hoke from Dublin in spring if that's what would have really happened. But continue, keep going.
And the number one matchup we're looking forward to in college football, just like you, is Miami and the Noles. Even though my Noles are, this is like going to be like the 3rd or 4th straight year they're going to be, I'm still going to be looking forward to this game because this is a pivotal game for them. If they're able to win this game, it'll keep my interest and it'll keep me watching them the rest of the season. If they lose this game, I'll slowly but surely lose interest and find something else to do with my 3 hours a day instead of watching them, and definitely be on the lookout for De'Aaron King to transfer from Houston to Miami at the quarterback position. He's a leader. He's a baller. It's going to be a tough day for the Noles, most likely.
All right, good stuff. That's our top 3 matchups for college. Let's switch gears to the pros as we close out the second hour. Cowboys Seahawks. You could argue that there's the 2 top matchups are Cowboys Seahawks, Chiefs Ravens. I don't know which one is bigger, but the 3 best teams in the NFL right now, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Seahawks, and all of them, the Chiefs and Ravens, that's the matchup, I believe.
Yeah.
Second matchup I have circled is the Cowboys and Seahawks. A lot on the line there. Cowboys have a lot to prove. Dak Prescott has a lot to prove. And right now, Russell Wilson, the odds-on favorite after 2 freaking weeks to win the MVP. I think he would solidify that conversation at least if you could keep it up for 3 straight weeks. Cowboys have a pretty solid defense, big matchup there. But then you have the Packers and Saints. Aaron Rodgers, not a lot of expectations for the Packers coming in. Many people thought that the Packers were ready to bury him and ship him out, and that the Packers, many people didn't even have them making the playoffs. The Packers are 2-0. The Saints have their back against the wall. They were able to escape with the win in week 1 despite Drew Brees not playing his best game. He's had 2 bad games back-to-back. He's in desperation mode. Will they have Michael Thomas? That's the big question. But Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they're quietly just taking care of business. This would be another huge win for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who are quietly taking care of business. But the Saints going to 1-2 with Drew Brees, I don't think they will make a quarterback change this season at all. Not that I'm saying they should even think about it at this point, but at the same time, you start out 1-2, you could have very well easily be 0-3, and they don't look like they have another win on the horizon for a while. They need this one. It's a very important game for all 6 of these teams. Again, Cowboys, Seahawks, Packers, Saints, and Chiefs and Ravens, my top 3 matchups for week 3.
Obviously, the number 1 game of the weekend is Kansas City at Baltimore. It's the matchup we want to see. It's the matchup we need to see. It's the one everybody's going to be watching, Monday Night Football. Definitely can't wait for that. The 2 MVPs, the Super Bowl champions, the list goes on and on. Must-watch TV. Number 2, obviously, for me, Dallas at Seattle. Plain and simple, this is Dak's money game. You want the big contract, you go ball out. Maybe you get into a shootout and you lose a shootout, but you make sure you hold up your end of the bargain. You make sure you play well. And obviously, it's a team sport. You want to win. But, Dak, you want to get paid, you better ball out versus the Seahawks. Number 3, a little different from you. I'm going with the respect game. Rams at Bills. The Bills are 2-0. Rams are 2-0. Rams, obviously, last year, Super Bowl hangover. They didn't make the playoffs and everything like that, but they're 2-0 right now. What's better than 2-0? 3-0. And both of them feel the exact same way. Buffalo, they want to take the division away from the Patriots. This is how you do it. You start out 3-0. You start out good. So one of these teams is going to walk away with a loss. Who is it going to be? That's why I'm tuned in for it. That's why we love the NFL.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of teams I'm very interested and curious about. Patriots, Cam Newton. Is he going to continue that trend? I mean, the Patriots could be for real. Are the Raiders for real? The Patriots, Raiders, another outlier matchup right there. How about the Texans and Steelers? Deshaun Watson gets all that money, the second highest paid quarterback in the history of the National Football League. I don't blame him for the 0-2 start. You took away a lot of his defensive and offensive weapons over the years. And can the Steelers keep it going? Again, a team that looks a little bit re-energized with the return of Big Ben. And then I'll tell you what, Justin Herbert, he was very impressive in week 1 and week 2, I should say, his first start of his career against the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs. He has another shot against a pretty bad Panthers team. I think you could see the Chargers improved to 2-1. Continuing the list here, I'm excited to see Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Sure, they're playing the Lions. I don't care about the opponent, but man, the Cardinals could be 3-0. We could be talking about Kyler Murray as one of the breakout stars for 2020. And again, so many big matchups, and that's our top matchups to look out for in week 3. All right, folks, that wraps it up for hour 2. When we come back, the Reds are chasing the playoffs. There is a path to the college football playoff. The Reds have a path to the college football playoff. You could tell I have that on my mind. No, the Reds have a path to the playoffs. They can clinch a playoff berth as early as tonight. What needs to happen for your Cincinnati Reds to clinch a playoff berth tonight? I'll tell you that, as well as we'll take a look at the lineup for tonight. The Reds and the Twins, plus Keith Byers and I will be heading to Huber Heights here shortly. We have Wayne and Fairmont coming up as our ESPN Dayton High School football game of the week. Lineups and the path to the playoffs for the Reds. Can they clinch tonight? I'll tell you how they can do it next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
To make sure the air in your home is absolutely perfect, call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They're offering $1,350 in rebates plus payments as low as $132 a month on a new Lennox system. Call 937-222-8638 today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Hello? Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Do you want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in our 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment is practice optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through September 30th, 2020.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's a new season. And it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro.
School goes on. Staples has everything to start the year right, no matter where school happens. And all at amazing prices. School on, save on at Staples.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Friday. So as we announced earlier, the Cincinnati Reds, we hadn't heard from Tom Brenneman in a while. We knew that the Reds had suspended him for him using the slur a few months ago. Or how long ago was that? It seemed like forever ago, but I don't think it was that long. It was just over a month.
Was it?
A month and a half, maybe 2 months, maybe a year ago. I don't remember. The COVID-19 2020 has just been one big month.
Right.
It's just been one big month. No one says, "Oh man, you having a good September." It's just been one bad 2020. So everything is just 2020. But no, a while back, of course, we know what happened with Tom Brenneman using the slur. Did not know his mic was on. The Reds had suspended him. Many people thought he should have been fired, but then days and weeks and then months had gone by and we hadn't heard anything. Well, Tom Brenneman has announced that he has resigned from the Cincinnati Reds. Well, Bob Castellini, the chief executive officer of the Cincinnati Reds, has released a statement. The Reds respect Tom Brenneman's decision to step away from the broadcast booth and applaud his heartfelt efforts I feel like this is going to get the Reds some negative heat. I just have a weird feeling that it's not going to. Yeah. The Reds respect Tom Brenneman's decision to step away from the broadcast booth and applaud his heartfelt efforts of reconciliation with the LGBTQ community. The Brenneman family has been an intrinsic part of the Reds' history for nearly 50 years. We sincerely thank Tom for bringing the excitement of Reds baseball to millions of fans during his years in the booth, and we appreciate the warm welcome Tom showed our fans at Reds Fest and on the Caravan. He's a fantastic talent, a good man who remains part of the Reds family forever. We wish him well. That is the statement from Bob Castellini, Chief Executive Officer of the Cincinnati Reds. I think less should have been said. I don't disagree with anything that they said in here, but again, with the way things are in 2020, you're opening yourself up for a lot of criticism saying, so, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you just know the attack that's going to come on this, I'm assuming. I haven't read anything yet, but I'm assuming that's going to get a lot of heat.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want her to do? What you want her to do? Like, just banish him forever?
No. Like,
no, not you. I'm just saying, like, what do people expect? Like, I mean, he's basically quit / fired. All he's basically saying he's still a part of their family. And I mean, shoot, that's the best they can do for him.
Yeah, this reminds me of like when a coach who is beloved by a team and has been around so long and had a lot of success, the teams don't want to put in the newspaper, an article, or media, we're firing him. It's, right. Hey, look, we can't keep this going. So we want to give you, let you leave with your head high. We need you to resign. And I think that's what happened here. All right, folks, let's take a look. The Cincinnati Reds, okay, they are right now in a position tonight against the Twins. They have a shot to be able to clinch a playoff berth. The Cincinnati Reds can clinch a postseason berth tonight with a win over the Twins, 8-10 the first pitch. They need the Phillies to lose to the Rays, and they need the Brewers to at least lose one of the 2 games of the doubleheader against the Cardinals. The Reds can clinch a playoff spot. We won't have the Reds game on the air tonight because Keith Byers and I are heading to Huber Heights to call the Wayne and Fairmont game. However, when the game ends, I promise you this, when the game ends, if the Reds are knocking on the door of clinching a playoff berth tonight, I promise you can tune right in. If you're not around the television, don't worry. We got you covered. You can tune in to 1410 Wing AM tonight. We will have the back half of the game for you if the Reds are on the verge of punching their ticket to the postseason. That will be coming up after our high school football game of the week. But that's only if the Reds are on the verge of punching their ticket. So we'll just, again, tune into the high school football game of the week tonight. We'll be able to keep you updated as far as that is concerned. Real quick, we send you out with this. Not send you out with this. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you the Reds lineup as far for tonight. Shogo Akiyama, Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, Mike Moustakis, Jesse Winker, Nick Senzel, Freddie Galvis, and Tucker Barnhart. That's your lineup tonight for your Cincinnati Reds. Tyler Malley will be on the mound for Cincinnati, and the Reds pitching is what has got them back into the playoff hunt. Will it be the pitching that officially punches the ticket in? Tyler Malley has a lot on his plate here tonight against a very good hitting Twins team. If the Reds get into the postseason, they definitely earned it. They made it more difficult than it needed to be, but they definitely earned it. Reds and Twins tonight, a shot to clinch a playoff berth right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll step away for a few moments. When we come back, we'll talk with ESPN's Dick Vitale. We'll talk about his new book, The Lost Season. We'll talk a little Dayton Flyers basketball. We'll also hear our interview that we did with Hal McCoy previewing this Twin series. Dayton basketball fans, don't go anywhere. Reds fans, don't go anywhere. A lot coming your way. Plus, Keith and I will preview tonight's matchup between Wayne and Fairmont. That's all coming up next on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.